Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly catch-up. This is show number 14. See, I got it right this week. 14. And I am joined by the co-host, Jeffrey K. Holbrook. Just, I might add, I did see he was sneaking in another blab before letting him into this one, and I just logged in and he quickly left that one and made himself available for that. What a true professional. Anyway, here he is.
Hey, how are you, sir? Can you hear me now?
Oh, now I've forgotten to switch I can hear the other two this way, so that's better now. Yes, I heard you through my other speakers. My goodness, you've totally changed. You've got a purple-colored microphone and different headsets, and
actually, I'm 2 states away from where I live.
Oh well, that's probably what it is. No skeleton in the closet this week. So
Yeah, right. No, actually, just the wall is all I can say. Actually, I'm at my daughter's house in Jeffersonville, Indiana, and
okay.
So I brought a microphone with me, and I'm using my wife's laptop, and I put a light on me, and here we are.
So really good. And there's you borrowed set of headphones too. They're not your regular ones.
These are just ones that were just sitting around. They're smaller and lighter, and so I just threw them in the. I have a kit. What I brought was it's actually a tool kit, and a microphone, a tall microphone stand, and I just had the light actually fit in there, and along with the microphone and the headphones and all that. And so I just had my little satchel, and I had my microphone stand. Here I am. I just thought, okay, I should, in this age, I should be able to go on the road if I want to. And now in the background, you can probably hear night sounds. One of the big deals we got going on here right now is that the air conditioning stopped working in the apartment building for some reason.
Oh,
and so the windows are open, and you'll probably hear some insects and maybe a car go by. But I thought, okay, I'm not going to close the windows.
No, because the sight of you just melting away is probably better off just having a little bit of noise. But I can't hear anything at the moment.
Well, good. Okay, I was like, I'm melting.
Because the thing is, with those microphones, you don't pick. It's not too sensitive, hopefully, anyway. So.
Right, being dynamic and everything like that, and the window is directly across that way behind it. Yeah, and so I was trying to angle it correctly to where we wouldn't have this trouble.
Because I find I use my dynamic a lot in the hot summer months when I've got the air conditioning going and it's behind the microphone. But I thought, well, I don't care if it does come through, but I'm not sitting inside doing the podcast with 113 degrees outside and not having the air conditioning on. And sat there with lights on you as well. That makes it even worse. So.
No, exactly. What I brought was one of those standard clip lights that you'll see in a shop, and it fit in the bag. And I've got it pointing more up, and then I've got some couple of paper or a couple of clothespins.
Oh yes,
and white paper around the back of it, so it's less direct. Trying to get reasonable light out of it, and a plain white wall behind me, and I'm sitting on a cot right here against the wall in one of the bedrooms that nobody's in.
Well, that just goes to show you, though, that people, go away and say, "Oh, I'm not at home. I haven't got my equipment and all that." It doesn't take much, really, does it? There's a set of headphones and just your microphone, and even if you're holding it. That's better than going through from a speaker and that.
I'll totally. I know a guy who's he hand holds one of these microphones twice a month and does a show called the Podcasters Roundtable, and it's become a thing that the guy hand holds his microphone all the time. So it's it's pretty cool. But I'm still a little more convinced about having a stand. The only big deal was, like you say, the stand, and then that toolkit that everything else was in except my wife's laptop, which was coming anyway. So I made sure I tested it last week, talked to some other people, and made sure that it was all going to work. And that's what I was doing, was testing it in the other thing that I've been in before.
Kelvin Fagan, is it? Kelvin Fagan.
Yes, Kelvin.
Because did you hear my introduction? Because I just logged in and I saw, he's chatting with somebody. Oh, he's gone. He must have seen me come on. He's switched off and quickly ran away. I thought I put hope poor old Calvin. Yeah, that's fine. Goodbye. See ya.
Yeah, he was like, "Hi, I just wanted to pop in." Now he was working anyway. There was a lot of typing going on. I mean, he's at work while he's doing this, and so it was like 11 o'clock in the morning where he's at, and he's been here since 7:30. So he's put in a few hours of work already, and he was doing like
England or Ireland or Scotland. Is he somewhere like that?
Yes, Kelvin, I believe he's in Scotland. I think. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because he has that podcast called Passing Places. I haven't come across an episode lately, but he spent a lot of time traveling. No, that wasn't him. He's in England, and there's another guy that had Passing Places that's in Scotland, and he traveled around in what they call a caravan, what we would call a camper or motorhome, and travel around, and he will actually record the sound of the different places in Scotland he goes to. It's a great show, really is. I found out today, you remember I told you that I was having two of the domain names expire?
Oh, that's right, yes.
Well, you got to really work hard to get these things to expire, because that day they did expire, but I keep getting emails. It's like, hey, if you don't renew this within X amount of time, you can still renew if you want to. And it's been since the 27th. Okay. Today's, the 3rd. And today I got one that said, if you don't renew it in the next day or two, it'll cost you $80 to get it back. And then that only lasts until, so-and-so. And it's like, do.
Do you want it for $1 for the next 10 years? That's what will be the next offer. So.
Well, no. They want me to pay the full normal yearly price, or if I don't do it by now, it's going to be, it's going to be $80 extra to get the thing all set up and everything. So it's kind of like,
I had one of them similar things. It had nothing to do with domain names though, but there was one of my trips to the US. And the place said, if you don't pay for it to now, that special offer ends tonight. And if you miss out, I said, well, if I miss out, I miss out. And so I missed out on that offer. But the offer the next day was $300 cheaper.
Yes, I have found that works out. That works out really well with, let's see, who is that'll give it to you cheaper? Oh, if you do something through, the business cards that people get, what is that called? Something print, Vistaprint.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You go through, and I went through and completely designed a card. I had it all set up, and I went, okay, and I looked at, okay. And so you can save it and go away and then come back. Well, okay, I'm going to think about how many of these I want. Well, then the next day, there was an offer that gave me the X number of cards cheaper than what I would have got them right then. And so I actually ordered more cards
for the same price,
and actually got them cheaper. So, go in there. No, this probably shouldn't be official. Go in there, design your card, be happy, go away, save it and go away. And they'll make you a better offer than what you were getting right then.
It was a bit like we had here when McDonald's started their self-serve thing, with the Visa cards, things and that. And they didn't know, but then there was this little bit of a scam that if you ordered a particular combination through there, when you ordered a thick shake on there, instead of adding the $4.50 for your shake, it took it off. So people figured out if you did 6 shakes and the meal, you got it for nothing. But because all they did, it says, okay, please do your credit card for $0. Yep, swipe it, nothing. Done. Get the receipt, because no human saw it. It says, just hit number 30. And they took them a little while to get onto that somebody said, no, if you order this shake or this combination with this shake, it goes down in price. And then whatever you order after that shake is minus off your bill.
Oh, wow.
And I thought,
well, after a while, they owe you money.
Yeah, so that was, I think that's what really pushed it, when somebody went overboard and it went below nothing. And I think then it says, hang on, you need assistance. We're not allowed to authorize to give you money back. But I think that's what sort of, it's always greed that kills these sort of things, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. They always push it way, way beyond the limit there. There was a guy who had a Starbucks card, and I think he had around $100 or something on it. And he published the number and said, somebody wants to, somebody homeless or somebody, a veteran or somebody, they want to get, just go ahead and use this number. And this got so far out of hand that there were a bunch of people that were putting more money on it. And this went on for more than a week, and thousands of dollars coming through this.
So they thought he wanted to give it away, but everybody thought, I'll put money onto it for this poor homeless person.
Exactly. I mean, no, he wasn't using it at all. No. It was just other people. He said, hey, have one on me. And so they did it. And then other people saw what was going on. It went viral. And these other people started putting thousands of dollars on his card, and people were getting them a free coffee every morning. And, I mean, you really got to finally, Starbucks just shut it down. Say, okay, we have enough of that.
Well,
we are ringing.
I bet you that's the Indian telemarketers. Hello? Let's see what happens. Well, they don't even want to speak to me now. I have always the Indian telemarketers, and I said, "That's it. I'll never bother because nobody ever phones me, except because you've got your mobile phone and all that. But that's a home line,
exactly.
And it really annoys me. Then if you wait long enough, then somebody, hello, I am not trying to sell you nothing. Well, what do you want? No, I'm not trying to sell you nothing, but you are. Yes, but I don't even entertain it now. I'll just say hello, and if nobody answers yes, I'll just hang up because it's.
Well, what you need to do is start talking German.
Yeah, but then it says, "Guten Tag, mein Herr, was kann ich für Sie tun?" So they'll start.
Oh wow, we even got the wrong country this time.
That's right. Yeah, but they'll have sorted that out. So.
No, that's funny.
Well, I'm still suffering from my cold a bit, and it's still a bit tickly in my throat, but it's more so I'll probably get through without the coffee. Did you see my skillful way of editing out the coughs last week?
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I popped onto YouTube and I looked at my subscriptions, and I watch them like on the Roku. A lot of times I'll just sit back. What's funny is Roku, is a computer thing, but I'll sit down. I mean, the YouTube is really a computer thing you're supposed to do on your computer, but we have, Netflix, Amazon, and YouTube is the top 3 things on there. And I've got subscriptions that I have put on there, and your YouTube channel is one of them. So I just said subscriptions, see if anybody had anything. And there it was. And was there within a few minutes after you put it on. Okay. And so I just kicked in, just kick back and watch it. And I will tell you, I laugh out loud at us. I mean, just like that was funny, And I would just sit there and laugh out loud because it's, so I'm sorry, that was really funny. The interactions and things that we have, and
it's good. I like the way I did cut it out because most of the times you stopped. And it didn't see, you couldn't see, it wasn't cutting out anything else because when I did cough or you repeated yourself, so I'll cut the cough out and then it went back to normal. So, and then I put a little notice into so if anybody saw, why has he cut it?
Yeah, well, like you say, I'm of course a podcaster, and I'm thinking audio all the time. And so I'm thinking, so if something happens, a big noise happens or something like that, I'm automatically thinking, well, I'm going to edit that out and then I just move on. And so again, your coughing was very similar to anything else that might happen. So whenever you coughed, it was just kind of like, okay, I'll wait. And then I would start from where I was at before, just thinking of doing an audio edit. But no, that was I like how you can do a video is something, again, video editing and things is something that I've never really done anything with. But I really like the way that you are creative and the way that you put those things together.
I've got to get more into it, but that's good with doing that because it keeps me hand in. Because even then I wanted to do it early, but I just didn't have the inclination to do it early because it's not that hard to do that one, but it takes about a couple of hours for it to render because it's a long thing. If you start putting the lower thirds and the top and bottom for the whole show for an hour, it takes ages to render that graphic.
Oh,
then you say, I've got to cut this one. Then it takes then it's got to go round back and re-render everything. So once it's so it might only take me half an hour to do the thing, but it takes about 3 hours before it's ready. So I'll forget about it. So I'll go away, do that. And bugger, that was the last night I did that. And it's the next morning. I thought, I've rendered it. I'm not waiting another 20 minutes for it to upload to YouTube because I don't like leaving the computer on when I'm not there. I don't just like leaving it, uploading things and then going to bed. I like to switch it off before I don't like to leave it.
Mine stays on sometimes, but we have a tendency to definitely unplug the computers whenever there's a big storm in case there's some kind of a surge or something. And one of the things I've noticed with Windows 10 with my desktop computer, not this one here, it's my wife's a laptop here, but my computer has a tendency, you tell it to shut off and it just restarts.
Oh.
And and it'll be off for a minute. I mean, it'll go shut down completely. All the lights go off, everything. Wait for it. Boom, it'll come back on again. And so if I don't catch it right in between and unplug it, then I've got to sit there and wait for it to finish again and do it all over again.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but Windows 10, I've got a laptop here that's got Windows 10 on it. And since I did upgrade to Windows 10, it actually doesn't take too long to boot up from cold. Whereas before the Windows 7 one, it used to be at least 6 or 7 minutes before it was ready to go. Whereas Windows 10 is about 30 to 60 seconds. It's much
I found out that my Windows 7 computer, my laptop that I've had for a few years now, it has like 6 gig of RAM in it, and it's like an i5 processor, so it's not the top processor. I found out that when I put Windows 10 in it, because every time you upgrade your Windows, it's more code and more taking up more space or whatever. Windows 10 actually makes that computer run faster. I mean, it shocked me. It was actually a really, really good. Hey, we have somebody saying hello from the Philippines.
Oh, hi.
Awida Fahili. Yep.
Hi.
Hello, Awida.
So,
but it just runs a whole lot faster than the Windows 7 did. As a matter of fact, it's such a resurrection that I'm going to take the thing, and we're setting up a project room. We have my room up there where I do the show. We're going to set up a project room for my wife in another bedroom, and I'm going to use it as a base unit for her to sit down and pay bills and things like that. I'm going to put an extra monitor on it, and I've got a extra hard drive and, some things to make this nice little, workstation, kind of like I have upstairs in miniature. And then she can just go in there and pay the bills, keep her bills all around it and everything like that. And then keep this laptop for its own. She carries it around. This one here's like a 17-inch Dell laptop with an i7 processor, 8 gig of RAM, and it's nice as far as laptops go. But that other one, I wouldn't think would run fast enough to really do this effectively. I wouldn't think.
Well, what I've had my eye on is, I always like the expensive things. The Microsoft, what they call their latest thing, their laptops. I had it in my head just a second ago. It's
I tried
Pro 4 or something. What's it called?
Oh, okay. I tried to not look at them if I don't need to buy one, because then I will.
And that's the thing, is why I look at these things and I think that'll do. Surface Pro, that's what it's called. This Pro 4, and I thought it's such a good thing. But when I look at these, especially laptops, I think I've got to spec them out to the top maximum thing, because I just thought if I get the lower one, I'll be so disappointed if I can't do something. But they're later, it's about $5,000 when you get the whole thing. Oh. But the great thing is, say it has the 15-inch, but that detaches from the keyboard, and then it's a tablet.
Oh,
and it's just touch control, but it's your whole computer, and then it just snaps back and locks in on in your computer in your laptop. But even then, the laptop will fold the other way.
Oh,
so you can hold it as well, just backwards. But it's just such a good concept. But it's just that little bit. But it amazingly looks just like a MacBook Pro with a Windows symbol on the back.
Oh, imagine that!
It's quite similar to that. But then they do have it over. They do have it over the Apple, whereas Apple won't refuse to have a laptop that you can touch the screen.
Oh, okay. I mean, being cool too is very important. If you can also be cool, so you have to make it look like that cool computer that you can't mention, that type of thing.
That's right. Yeah. But I mean, I think we've got a winner base there, but it's just so damn expensive. That's the only thing that might kill it, because I do like Windows 10 is one of the first ones starting to get a bit more inviting, because Windows 8 was sort of a bit of a disappointment for a lot of people, wasn't it?
It was a real problem. The big computer I've got in my base unit there that I always do the show on, it was Windows 8 whenever I got it, and then immediately with no touchscreen, I have a 21-inch, monitor, and I have an extra 15-inch that beside of it, but no touchscreen. But the first thing it does is bring you up to all of these. To these little things that you're supposed to be touching, and it's kind of like, what in the world?
Nothing's working.
A lot of people complained really quickly about that, and so they did come up with 8.1, which made it closer to Windows 7, which then I just set it up to where it wouldn't even those little things didn't even come up on the screen. It just popped up like Windows 7, like my normal icons and everything. And I've been using it that way ever since. Then it went to Windows 10 and they learned their lesson. Yes, Windows 10 still has the icons on the screen.
Yeah. But Windows 10 sort of got a 50 way bet each way, hasn't it? It's sort of, it's got the touch things, but it's got it's half and half sort of thing. So it's sort of
they learned their lesson.
It slowly entices you to go and use the icons, but if you don't want to, that's fine on that. So
on the desk unit, on the desk unit, I don't. I mean, I've had desk units since the 80s, and I just, Commodore 64, and then my first PCs, were DOS and everything, and I've used keyboards and since the 80s, and to come up with the touch screen thing. Sitting at a desk now on a laptop, it's one thing, but sitting at a desk and then reaching up, like to touch all this stuff when your keyboard is right here and your mouse is over here, and then you're reaching up to the screen to touch things. I'm sorry. I wanted a computer, not a tablet at the desk. That's my command center. And so now this computer I'm on here is a touch screen specifically because my wife, with her arthritis and stuff like that, it's kind of, so we specifically got her a 17-inch and with a touch screen. And so this is very nice for that, but I have to be careful because if I brush the screen, I'll do something.
Yeah. But it's a bit like my keyboard here. It's got a cord on it, but my theory is I'm only 2 inches away from the down screen. Why do I need it cordless? And all I'm forever doing is chasing batteries when you do it. And plus this Apple thing, they don't have a wireless one with a numeric keypad.
Oh, okay, yeah, because the whole point of wireless is to make them tiny and compact to where you don't have that trouble.
Fine, but if you're doing video editing, yes, you can do a combination to get it, but you want a number so you can get to the things. You want a home key so you can go to the home, go to the end of the thing. Yes, you can always do them by doing the shift, but you've got to remember another lot of combination keys to, like, just even the delete key. Like when you've got a single keyboard, you've got to remember, oh, well, if I do this delete, that's a backward backspace, that's a forward delete. But then which is a combination that do I have to be before it or after it do that? And then by that time you've deleted the wrong thing or done that. But I always like to have that numeric keypad. And like on Wirecasters, that you can have the screenshot set up, which you can't do that on that because you've got to go to the top and have you've got all your numbers across the top. Which on a numeric keypad, you know where you are without looking at the keypad. You can just touch Control M.
When I got that big computer, and it's still big for today's standards. It's got about 16 gig of RAM and a 2 gigabyte gaming video card, one of those NVIDIA cards. It came up with a keyboard that was about this big. And when you put your fingers on it, it scooted on the desk because it was so light.
Just ran away.
It was just like this little piece of plastic, and I couldn't even type on it. And I was thinking, what in the world, So I went and bought a Razer Anansi gaming keyboard.
Oh, dear.
And every key on it is programmable. It's got a bunch of extra keys that you can specifically program. I have one that I can hit this key and it just puts my email address in. Things like that. And so I had all of the numerical keys. I don't use the keypad very much. So I had my numerical keypads all programmed to go to specific websites.
Oh, that was good.
And so you just go, and that's just the key. Oh, you didn't even have to do any combination, just bang, and you go to a website. Well, then my wife started paying bills whenever I moved the computer upstairs. She started, up into the room I'm in now. She started paying bills on the computer, and she uses a keyboard religiously. And so I unprogrammed them all and made them back the numbers again. And then one of the things she asked me was, "Why do you have two monitors?" And I said, "Well, I have some things over there and some things over here." And she said, "Well, what, I don't understand why you would need a second monitor, because you can do it." Yeah, you can, but it's pretty good. And she said, "Oh, okay." So the first time she went to pay the bills, she hit it, and the calculator come up on the other screen, and left the screen with the website she was on and stuff like that. And she hits the keypad, when I got that straightened out, and she's doing her calculations. And so whenever I told her, and you can hear that car out there, I know you can hear that. But anyway, she said that whenever when I was telling her, "Well, we'll take my old laptop and just set you up a desktop unit downstairs in your project room," and she said, "Can I have another monitor?"
Yeah, no, see, well, it's the sort of thing, if you've never used that, I've had so many people say, "What on earth would you want another monitor?" I said, "Well, you have another monitor just for a couple of days, and you'll soon see," because he said, "You don't have to have one." I said, "But it just makes life so much easier. You can put your emails on one and have, if you want to keep in, or if you're watching your other things, or even sat watching something that you're not that much interested in when you're having to pay your bills." Like, that's what I do sometimes.
Right.
Watch a podcast that, that's more talking than visual. I can listen to that and do that while I'm updating a website or something, have that on there. And it's really good to do that. And with video editing as well, a lot of them, like Final Cut Pro, it allows you to do, if said, do you want your monitor screen on your second monitor, so you can have all working equipment on your main screen, and just your monitor, it pushes it out onto there. And, it's quite good to do that. But when you were saying before, you said about the noise, when you were saying about your laptop switching off and then coming back on, you said when you switch it off and then it does this. And when you went quiet, I heard the birds go tweet, 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 tweet. I thought, how the back, I thought, oh, is that what it does? But no, it was come back on that. But,
well, as soon as I try to switch it off, it sends
but it went tweet, 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 because I had the morning birds there. I do have another keyboard as well. I have, see, Apple can't do it, but I've got this one, the Logitech, which is pretty much,
yes, Logitech does a lot of stuff.
Pretty much the same as the Apple keyboard. But and it's the solar, so it doesn't require batteries. The lights here is strong enough to do that. But then that's a cool Bluetooth. But I use that one for the PC machine, so it's got nothing to do with the Mac.
Okay.
But I could get you, because the Mac version, this is the PC version of that, but the Mac version is exactly the same. It's just white. And they tried to tell you, well, one's a PC and one's a mobile. It's exactly the same keyboard, just one's white and one's black. But I've heard it's good.
There are so many things that could be made solar. There are so many things that can be made solar and wireless all at the same time. You could make them do both of those things. And look, when I move sideways, my head goes out. My head was going out of the picture. But I mean, that keyboard is solar. I have a watch that is Citizen Eco Drive, and it actually gathers light from the air, and then it stops running when you put it in its case and you're not wearing it. It stops running. And so if you pull the thing out of it, all of a sudden there's some radio signal in the air that it checks, and then all of a sudden you see the hands running around and the thing resetting itself whenever you pull it out of the box. And I've had it for a couple of years, and I still find it fascinating for some reason, just the mechanical movement of the hands as the thing goes around whenever you pull it out of the box. But there are so many things, there are so many things that could be solar. Like that keyboard is perfect. You don't need it's not heavy. You don't need a huge solar thing, but there's small devices that can be made solar that could then be wireless without needing to change batteries.
And this light's strong enough to drive it as well. It's that's all it needs, because I've never had it flat. And then if it's ever low, you just make sure you've got your little your bench light or just something that's in the light, and it seems to come up quite nicely. And it's never ever let me down. It's not terribly heavy, but it's got a good feel to it, that one. But I quite like the Logitech stuff on it as well. So quite a nice look.
No, that is cool. So what kind of a ratio do you do between using your PC versus your Mac, I mean, you switch back and forth, or do you just do the creative stuff on the Mac like everybody says, and then do business on the
Well,
PC?
I'll tell you what I do. I do all my stuff on the Mac for all my personal stuff, and I just see there, just as well we're saying about wireless things. The only thing I have with wireless is my touchpad that's used instead of a mouse, because I can't use a mouse in it. I always just use that. But it's just saying the battery's half flat. So that's another thing I hate. So it's going to go down on that. But for personal use, I always use the Mac, and I only use the PC. Well, the PC I've got there at the side, that Dell and the monitor, that's the works PC, and the Dell laptop I have for work. But then I have my own Dell laptop for when I do need a Windows machine. So I don't use it. So when I upgraded to Windows 10, I did what everybody else did, said hit the upgrade, and it never worked. It kept switching off, switching on, switching off, switching on, switching off, switching on it just never went anywhere. And so what I had to do was destroy the whole machine, reformat it, and start fresh, and it came up nice. But that's what that machine's for. I don't really care about whatever was on there. I said, well, it's just so I've got a Windows machine, because sometimes, and like even with the works machine, that's hooked up to the work network. And some of the things I do at night with implementation, I need to do something on the net on a Windows-based machine. And with going through Works network and doing that, some of the things is not very efficient, because you're going into the network, then going out. And it's better to use my one that's not connected, but I can do that, go to a website in Canada and do that on there, which is much quicker. So it's, but as I said, predominantly I use my Mac pretty much for everything if I'm not at work. And also then I know I'm not at work. Whereas I work all the day on the Windows machine, so I don't like to use that on my personal stuff, because you think, well, it just feels too much like work if you're doing that. So
that I understand. A matter of fact, I live 25 miles away from where I work, and I don't want to see my workplace on my day off. If I can help it, I really like living out where I do. And I had a friend at work one time that was telling me, she said she lived in the city all of her life. And she said, why do you live so far out? And I said, have you ever been out to the country? And she said, she just launched into this big memory about going to her grandmother's and little, and chickens running around and all kinds of stuff, and the birds singing and all this going on like that. And I said, I feel like that every day when I go home from work.
Yeah.
She goes,
really?
Oh.
But some people don't get it when you said I don't hate work, but you said you're there all week. The last thing you want to do is go past it, because you have to do that. So I do the same thing. If there's something near work on the day off, I'll do something else, because I thought I don't want to have to go there, because you have to do it every day anyway. And not that I mind it, but you think, well, that's just one day you didn't have to do it. Why do that? And there was one place I used to go, and then nearly everybody, I used to run into everybody from work. And just saying hello to people when I meet them in the supermarket. I said, because I see you every day. I said, don't want to, I'll ignore you on the weekend. So I can see you on Monday.
Whenever we go to doctor appointments or something, my wife has some doctor appointments that are in Charleston, which is fairly near to where we're at. And we end up, there's a Greek restaurant that we like to eat at, and it's actually not very far from where I work at. And there's some close stores that we go to. Well, we go to those, and we'll go to the Greek restaurant, and we generally won't see anyone that I work with. But if we go just a little ways up the road, about a quarter of a mile, and go to Walmart, everyone I work with's in there. Every time we go in, it's just kind of like, it's just so sad. You see him, it's like, oh, and you hope you don't see a supervisor and they'll say, we're going to mandatory you to come to work right now.
Yeah, well, that's all.
I mean, they can't.
But that you always, and also as well, if somebody did say something, you could, if you would do it anyway. You wouldn't say, no, I'm not working. You wouldn't do that anyway. But speaking about Walmart, there was looking on YouTube the other night, and I got stuck watching this YouTube video. It was about 15 minutes long, as I said, things you see at Walmart, and it was just about 40 minutes or something, just all these still shots. And I thought, oh God, some of the things that it was showing you that was just outrageous. I thought it sounds
Uh,
like a place where the disturbed and the needy really go a lot. So
well, there's one website I believe is dedicated to people wearing pajama pants. Whenever they're in Walmart. And I admit I've seen it. Today, when my wife and I were traveling here to Indiana from our house, we got out at a rest area, along the highways, the 4-lane interstate highways. We have rest areas, every so often, which is a nice courtesy that each state will put out there. We were in Kentucky. And so people got out of the car, and here comes some young girl striding along wearing pajama pants, out in the open, broad daylight. And there you go. It seems like a normal everyday thing now. I mean, I'm dressed down today, but still, wasn't wearing pajama pants.
But the way sometimes people dress these days, you don't know. We said, well, some people work around next to nothing. So what's a pair of pajama pants anyway? It's just a tracksuit pant with funny patterns on them. Really, that's all
Right.
it is.
Well, people are generally better covered up in their pajamas than they are in what they wear out in the open anymore.
Yes.
I mean, so you're actually better covered whenever you're getting in bed than you are whenever
then
you're
again,
out.
I must be getting old because I think you get up, you get dressed, you go out normally. You don't. When you do that, you've said you've given up on life, I think.
Well, yeah, well, I have to admit that I really do like the casual dress of our society much better because when I was a kid, of course, we were going to church and we had a family singing group in church. We went to a private Christian school from about the 6th grade on. We're talking uniforms with ties and everything. And then we wore suits when we did something formal for the school and competitions and things. I sang like Mel Solo and did public speaking and things like that. And when I was in school and competition, then we do things in church. We're dressing up for that. We travel again out of state and do things, and we're dressing up for that. And there are so many different things that you would dress up for, and constantly wearing ties. Then I got a job working at a bank and at a finance company, and and I'm sitting at a desk with my name on it and a tie and everything. Then I got on at the Postal Service, and from then on out, I've been able to wear t-shirts and like gym shorts and things like that, whatever you want, because I'm not working with the public. I'm working inside sorting mail and working in an office or whatever like that. So you don't really have to dress up if you're not having direct customer contact. And I love the more casual atmosphere for that. But there are times whenever, you really need to look presentable. I remember my dad, he would be going to town and he dressed for town. And he would take one of his 5 boys in the family. He would take one of us with him every time he went to town. And so he would wear a button-up shirt, and he had his little, stuff in his pocket he was going to use and everything like that, and a pair of dress shoes and a pair of nice pants. And that's how he went to town. And to this day, he's 81. He still dresses that way. I mean, if he takes a shower in the evening after he's been working, he's working around the house or whatever, he can't do it so much now. Now he's been sick here lately, but he will still completely dress and come out of the bathroom after a shower at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, completely dressed, because that's what you do when you take a shower.
Yeah, you don't put tracksuit pants on or pajamas on and that. But I must admit, that's used to be a thing years gone past. People used to more often come home get showered and get cleaned up and then just had the pajamas on. But you don't hear that at all a lot, do you? Like, because I think that was maybe before tracksuit pants and that, because now everybody puts t-shirt and tracky. I know I only do that when I know I'm not going out. I won't go out in tracksuit pants and t-shirts. I don't mind t-shirts normally, but I won't go out in tracksuit pants. So.
Yeah, we have. I have to admit that I have done that for my wife, where she's disabled and things, being comfortable and not non-bound up. And, I mean, she dresses up a lot, whenever we go out, because she's home so much. So to dress up and go out. But if we're just going to pop 5 minutes away and come out of the woods and go down to the store or something like that, everyone else is doing it. And so we're only down there for 10 minutes getting some things and then coming right back. Then I will wear what we call sweatpants. It's the same thing.
Oh, is that what you call this? Yeah, but the same things, aren't they?
Yeah. It's track pants, sweatpants. Yeah, we have some that look a little better and actually have pockets on them, whatever like that. The normal, yeah. But there's something that around here is going on. Women wear these, well, they wear yoga pants, which are basically painted
Oh,
on,
okay, yes.
and then a real high cut top, and it's, I mean, things that women used to wear for hose or tights or whatever you call them before, they wear on the outside now. And so it's just kind of like, I mean, you don't really need a closet anymore. You just need a cabinet with several colors of paint and a brush.
Yeah,
That's all you need.
But usually the people who do that can carry it off. It's just the people who can't that just destroy it for everybody else.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like to me that people ought to put clothes on.
Well, that's right.
I'm kind of old fashioned that way. People go out in public, they should be wearing clothes.
Yeah, but as I said, I'll do the casual thing. But as I said, most of the time, it's just me. I'll just feel like I'm relaxed. But when you go out, I just feel you I'll put proper trousers on and all that. But it's just I think it's just I'm not comfortable like some in a country like this. It's so hot. I very rarely wear shorts. And that's it. It can get so hot. But the other, I wear shorts. Then my legs burn because of the sun. It gets too hot. So if you do, so you can put sunscreen on that. That's fine. But it's just too much keeping on your legs all the time. So I find it's just as easy. And what I use the sweatpants a lot for is when I go riding. So I might have my white breeches on. And I'm not walking down the street in them because I might have to go to a shop. So I'll have me white breeches on and all that, but then I'll have me sweatpants over the top of them, so I don't look like a total idiot. With the,
well, there you go.
Sometimes when you finish, you're dirty. I just don't care anymore. I'll go into the supermarket like that just to buy something because you've got your boots on and that. But it's just some of the time when you go out, you think, I've got these white pants. I don't want to get them messy. You thought, well, yeah, take them off and go and riding a horse. You're definitely going to get messy with that. But it's strange how you change your senses differently when you're riding as when you're out normal. So when I buy shoes for work, like I'll buy shoes, say maybe $100 or $150. If they're on special for $79, I'll buy them. And if I go out there and if I see a mud, bowl or muddy puddle or something mud, would I step in that with my nice $100 shoes? No, I wouldn't. But I'll put my $600 riding boots on, and I won't hesitate to stand in 6 inches of mud, walking, getting the horse, and doing that. And I thought, but you just don't seem to mind that. But you won't do it on your $100 pair of dress shoes, but you don't mind it on your $600 and $700 pair of knee-high leather boots. So.
Well, we do actually honestly change our perceptions and change our standards based on the situation. I remember when I was in high school, you'd be playing football. You kind of hated to practice in the mud, but it sure was fun to play in the mud.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, but yeah, you hate to practice that way, but I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't seem to do it. But one of the things you'll find around here, my wife teases me, until it gets down into the teens, as far as Fahrenheit goes, very cold around here, I wear shorts to work. And in the wintertime, it is hotter inside the industrial building that I work in than it is in the summertime.
Because they put the heaters on, don't they, in the winter?
Yeah. I mean, and what happens is, you have like 30 dock bays in the building that I work in. The trucks back up too. So as soon as they start opening those doors, then you start running into the heaters inside the building running overdrive, and the interior of the building, you have the dock, but then the interior of the building gets so incredibly hot.
Yeah, because it's cold there, it's heating up, but it's not really there.
And so that is a good time to wear the truck pants over top of your shorts, and then take them off, put them in your locker when you get there, and wear your shorts while you're inside the building. But we change our standards on what we would wear. But then if the circumstances are slightly different, then we'll go ahead and do that and break our own cardinal rule about what we would wear somewhere. So it's, it's our perceptions about what you should do and what you shouldn't do. It's funny how that alters, like you say, with the boots and everything.
But I think also as well is with my thing as well as with track pants, I like to have my wallet and all that in my pocket, and you put them in track pants, and your pants keep falling down because you have a bit of coin in that, and it's just too heavy, and you just forever you can't. No matter how much you pull that string tight, you can't keep them tight. They'll just flop off if they've got too much weight in the pocket. So.
Yeah, you just have to get you a fanny pack.
I've got a fanny pack, but then I feel even worse having that. I don't mind having that for the dogs to have the dog poo bags in there, but I don't like wearing it most of the time. That was a funny thing. The first time I came to America and had that expression, a fanny pack, because and there was people. What did he say? He says, "Why don't you get yourself a fanny pack?" And this woman with, how what's he on about? You know what that means here, don't you?
No. Can we say it and keep the?
I'm just trying to think.
Keep the rating on the show. Okay, I'm assuming something you don't talk about in public.
But just think of a woman. But what a fanny is, you say, is
right
behind, but the fanny is the front part on a woman, not the behind. That's what that is here.
No. Honestly, I have my sister-in-law has a cat named Fanny, and the reason why is because they were out mountain biking one day, and all of a sudden here come this kitten that evidently, it was a stray, somebody had to drop it off, come rolling down the hill into the path, and they almost ran over it with their bicycle. And so they saved it, rescued it, put it in their fanny pack, and rode the thing home. And this cat's name is Fanny
because it got rescued by the fanny pack. So
yes. So it was rescued by the fanny pack. And one of the things I think is funny, and one of my favorite British or Irish authors, I guess, Anne McCaffrey, the Dragon Riders of Pern series. I heard her use the word randy.
Oh yes, you know what do you think of that?
And yes, I totally got it in context whenever I read it in the book. I just happened to mention, the mating proclivities of a particular dragon, and anyway, and so I have a lot of friends named Randy. So it's just like, okay, now I get it, but I'm serious. There's a lot of named Randall.
Yeah.
But Randy, that's even a girl's name. You put an I on the end of it instead of a Y. But I know a lot of Randys, and so you just realize whenever you go across country borders, sometimes the same thing means an entirely different thing. Sometimes.
Yes, that's why you've got to be really careful, I suppose, wherever you go, and it's like in a lot of languages, the simple things can be. These horrible insulting words are usually not too bad. Most people know them. It's the little subtle ones that sometimes people might get upset about, like saying, and also if you could get the wrong end of the stick, if you don't know what Randy is. And like I say, in Australia, if you touch somebody on the fanny, well, even it might be bad on that way, but if you did it here, that's definitely you'd be in jail.
As well, you should be.
That's right, but it's not just. So
well, no, this is all news to me. I had no idea that now I'm ruined, because every time I hear somebody talk about a fanny pack, it's going to be kind of bad.
It's a bit like in England, though. I think they had like sticky the sellotape, the sticky tape.
Yes,
that's called Durex, I think, in England. No, Durex is what we call sticky tape here, but in England, Durex is the main brand of condom.
Oh, okay.
So if somebody went in Australia and says, "Can I have some Durex?" They come back with,
oh boy!
Just imagine them with just sticky tape and sellotape, and it says, "I don't know." Yeah, they have strange contraception ideas in Australia. So.
Oh, totally. No, we we have cellophane tape, but the main brand and the household name is Scotch.
Yeah, Scotch.
Tape.
Yeah, we have that.
So Scotch. So we have so that's what people call tape. But yeah, no, yeah, that could kind of get you in some trouble, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but there's not too many things that are like that. But it just make for a funny laugh every now and then, I think. So some of the strange
Well,
things.
well, the international flavor of the internet and television and everything now. I mean, last night when I was driving home from work, I just turned the radio on, and there was however many hours of programming on our public radio station from the BBC.
Mm.
You know, and so I mean, so it's all international now, and so we are starting to learn some of these.
And that's the thing is, when I said with that Fanny incident, that was way before. Like nobody, everybody here would know what you mean now. It's not one person because of heard it on the internet. They know what they mean. They know what we mean by it, but they know who is. Back in the 80s, you know, you heard what you, because you only saw what was on the television here. That was it. And the odd show, right. But you didn't have local words. Now you get onto this, you've got current affairs from everywhere. You can watch the American news, all the talk shows. We never used to have that years ago. Whereas, as I said, like you said, if you heard something like Randy, well, you knew straight away with the context what it was. It wasn't like you was under any, that's what it means. You just find out within a few seconds, whereas before you would have heard, what's that? But it doesn't take you long. And even now, if I hear something, you don't know what it is, get out the Google machine. Find out. Oh, I love that when you just get to watch a show and say, I wonder if that person's still alive, and see, you know, because you always think, I've never seen them for that. Oh, that's why they just died. That's why you haven't seen them.
We were watching my wife. She has several. She has this computer here, but she has several devices like a tablet and even on her phone. She has huge phones, and so she loves, whenever we're watching a show, she loves checking the International Movie Database all the time. We were watching a movie this evening, and we saw, I think, 10 different people. This was made in 1999. And we saw about 10 different people, and we knew 3 or 4 of them, but 10 different people that, wait a minute, I knew that guy. Where do we know that guy from? Oh, he's on in the NCIS New Orleans. That guy in the wheelchair, the guy in the wheelchair on NCIS. She said, well, goodness, he looks a lot. And I said, no, it's been 16, 17 years since he was a kid and made this movie. And now here he is on this hit show, up here. So, and then we were seeing several other people. It's like, wow, but she loves to check that while we're actually watching things and see what all they've been in, so we can try to track down these people that look familiar to us. But all this instant information is just right at your fingertips. There you go.
It's just amazing how that search engine does work on Google, because no matter when, it always seems to come up with what you want. And like you type in a keyword, but you said, well, but if other people are thinking differently, and they seem to get the same result with the same phrase. And it's all got to do with your location as well, doesn't it? So when I type something, it usually comes up with something that would be probably more relevant for an Australian than it would American. But then if I'm in America, it comes up something that's more relevant. It geotags you. So it's quite but as I said, what they say, like with the Facebook and all that, it's a bit frightening that they could start feeding you what they want you to see. So yes, and then
I am seeing that really well, because I go to, say, Amazon and search for specific piece of equipment. I just wonder how much it is or whatever, and I think, well, I've heard of that, let's do a search on that. And I go and look at a specific piece of equipment. Well, for the next month it shows up on Facebook in front of me. I mean, and then I'll go, one time I went to some site. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was just, I think it was some international site of Normal Thing. I think it was like about quotes or something. And an ad from one of my local election people that was running for election, an ad showed up on this international quote site when I was doing some research for one of my podcast episodes, and the ads for one of the local politicians showed up on my computer when I was on this international site. I'm saying, well, and what's happening is they're doing ad injection. It's not It's not that the site itself set it up. They have this thing set up with somebody like Midroll or some of these companies that do ad injections, and the site senses where you're coming from, finds out where you're. For instance, they always seem to think I'm from a town that's about 10 miles or so away from here, because that must be where the main internet hub is. And so they will give me ads based on where I am from, and those are injected by somebody who they are just contracting with, and then they get money based on the fact that these ads have been, shown to the right people.
What really annoys me, though, is I'm not so bothered about that when they're trying to sell me something, but what I really detest is, like, I have a Adobe Creative Cloud membership, and they have all my sign-on, I have all my details, I have all my name and all that. And part of the Creative Cloud thing is you have software that you download and put on your machine, and then you put in your password and register it. Okay, done.
Right.
And then you get a new machine, or you go onto a new machine, you've got to download it again. So every time when I download some, then I get an Adobe thing. Do you want to, why don't take up a membership and do this, do that? Can't they check with their records? I'm paying a monthly subscription under that same email address, the same one that I downloaded it from. In this technology,
I would say they know.
They've got all that, but why is somebody bothers me every time? Oh, do you want to do a membership? I said, well, can't you check your, you know that I'm doing, because I've downloaded it. Even if I just download it from I've got to sign into your account, an account to down, and that's my account that I'm paying you money from to download it in the first place. And it just annoys me when they can do everything else so well. But I have this feeling that they don't want to. They just give everybody that you just phone them. We might get that, might keep them in, or somebody else might buy a subscription. I don't know what, but it just annoys me.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you there. But if somebody were to, there's a lot of people in the United States that will mail things to, say, senior citizens and things like that, and make it look like a bill, but it's not. And they believe they owe it and they pay it, and so they just send them money and it ends up being a magazine subscription or something. I would say that they're probably trying to get people to sign up, and if you were to do it under that same name and password, it would just do you for a second year.
But the thing is,
so they probably want you to do that.
The thing is, way it works with the Adobe, they're charging me monthly anyway. It's ongoing. It's just ongoing, and if you don't say anything, it automatically, you can't pay it as you go. It's all every month it gets charged. It's automatic. So I thought, well, but I thought the marketers, you'd get much better, you keep your customers better if you didn't bother them. Well, it had to have that. You could understand if somebody new signed up, they haven't got an account. Yes. Hey, I see you've downloaded our trial version of this software. Yeah, but did you also see 2 seconds later I registered it, but I had to download it with the registered account I had. And they've got it down pat. Like if I put that on 5 machines, it won't work. It will only work on 2, and it'll switch the others off. So you can put it on all your machines, and then deactivate one and activate another one. If you forget to deactivate, it says, "Well, too many. Do you want to deactivate all the others?" Yes. So it throws you out of all them. So it's very well managed. So it does annoy me.
They could. They just haven't taken the time to do it, or they do have some insidious alternative or ulterior motive that you're trying to do.
I can't say it, but as I said, they should. I don't know why anyway. So we're nearly at our hour. We're at our hour again near enough, aren't we? Because we started about 10:02, didn't we?
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing about 8 minutes.
These sessions seem to get quicker, go quicker and quicker and quicker, don't they?
They do, yes. But like you say, there's always plenty to talk about. It's probably because instead of talking it all out in 3 hours like we were doing when we first met, we always have something more to talk about each week whenever you come back. So how do you think my mobile rig worked out?
Excellent. Yeah. So as I said, it worked out really well.
I think what happened was she uses the new Windows browser on here, so I just put Chrome on here, and I have all my stuff on here on Chrome. So and she's kind of thrilled I'm using her computer to do the show. So
now the only thing I can hear slightly different is your other room's a bit better treated by the sound to it, because there's
totally
you've got wooden floors there, or
No, there is carpet on the floor, but there's no treatment of any kind
you can
around.
feel just that slight bit of bouncing around, but as I said, it's not much. But it's only because I'm trying to notice a difference. But as I said, it's not that you think, oh my god, that sounds shocking. It's not. It's really good. So.
Well, what I was trying to do was, there's a bed in here, of course, and some carpeting, but the upper corners, there's nothing, and it's probably coming back to bed. Actually, kind of hung a blanket over here to make sure.
Holding a blanket over your head.
I should have done that. I did. I do admit there's an artist easel right here, this direction, and I did drape a blanket over it to keep this corner right here from resonating. You do what you can, but start number one with a dynamic microphone. A plain dynamic microphone, and try to point it in such a direction that it's not, because it could be worse if I was in another location in the room and it was reverberating from all four corners. Just try to do stuff and try to do as good as you can. And hey, I'm on the road and it's not going to sound as good. So here we go.
I'm using the condenser up here, so that's right up there. So
now, if I was using a condenser in this environment, you would be able to hear the dog breathing in the apartment next door, I guarantee. But you can hear cars going by. I know you can, but because I'm serious, it's just right there is this window. And but
I just hear one now.
I'm on the road.
That was it. I hadn't heard one, but I just heard one then, but that was the first one. Maybe it wasn't here, but I just heard that then going past then. So
Yep, there they go.
Okay,
it's a normal thing.
Okay, well, that wraps up another show for us. So, are you back home next week?
Yep, I'll be home next week. We're only here just like you said. I wanted to make sure I could do the show. I wasn't going to tell you too. No. I was going to surprise you with the new setup and see what happened.
You did surprise me. I said new headphones, different shirt, purple microphone cover. Is it the same microphone just with a different cover on it?
Well, actually, I have three of these.
Oh, it's a different.
So the other one, my normal one, is still sitting at home on its little pullover stand. This is actually. Wait a minute, let me show you.
Oh, okay.
It's just a plain old microphone stand, that you would use on stage. So there you go.
I've got one of the little desktop mics that I bought for the stand for $10, and that'd do well because you could have it just out of the way. And it's just said, but that's really good because, as I said, a lot of people can't get a good, and I said you don't need to have top setup to have a reasonable sound. Like we do the show, the Tech Down Over, and quite often people sound it's woeful. It feeds back, but they don't have a set of headphones. They're trying to do through the speaker, and they're sat about 6 foot back, trying to yell into the laptop. And then we had one guest, and it was. It was like there was nobody. There was a black screen.
Oh wow!
We could hear them. They just disappeared because that was on the daylight or something went on. It was just pitch black. It's like you could just see two little eyes. I think. I think they're still there. But it's quite an interesting guest to talk about. But we put up with it. But I thought just simple things. Well, you don't need much. You can have a book light shining on it. You can have normal, just fluorescent stuff. Like even if I switch this one off there, I'd have decent. It would be enough for people to see without it being too grainy. I do have a overhead one, a bit better one there to get me more light. But
well, this room here, the lights all it is a bedroom they're not using, and the lights all work off of the switches on the wall. So there were no lights in here at all, no overhead light or anything. But I had brought that clip-on light that just a shop light, and I put that paper around it to get more indirect light. And I just set a box over here and clipped it on that, and it's coming across the top of the thing about head high, and kind of floods the area with indirect lighting. And that's
hoy.
And that and the microphone and this, and all I had was that gig bag and this microphone stand. That's all I really was showing.
So that's good. So, so thank you everybody that's watching. Yeah, nobody's watching there. Nobody's live anyway. So I think we're at awkward times, so nobody's around there. But hopefully people will watch us on YouTube and subscribe and keep up with our weekly catch-ups. They said we're up to number 14 so far, so we'll be up to 100 before you know it.
Exactly,
anyway,
exactly.
Bye for now.